Hey, we're live on a Wednesday with Hollywood on the Rocks. Hope you're doing well. Today, we've got a bunch of news, a trailer drop from Mortal Kombat 2, and our big interview. Jim Agnew, screenwriter, producer, will give us insight on what's happening with is there going to be another WGA strike? We'll see. So let's get Alan here, kick things off.
Alan!
Hey,
You're finally here.
I know. I just got off X, and so now I'm here.
I was just gonna say, I'm glad you found the time to do the show today when you're not on X.
Oh my God, today was a especially good day.
Yeah, I saw a lot of.
By the way, so I'm almost at 12,000 followers. I'm 50 away. Thanks to most recent events.
But are you monetized on X?
No, you have to have like 5 million impressions in 3 months.
Good luck.
Yeah. I'll tell you, the guy who is John Davidson, the rugby reporter. I think he's going to get there pretty soon.
There are a lot of John Davidsons on X that are reaping the benefits of recent events, which we'll get into today. But I'm pissed off at you.
Good. You should.
You know why? And it's also not your fault. It's not your fault. No, I love you.
I told you can go.
No. So Alan is going to see Project Hail Mary tonight, and he'll give us his reaction. Maybe you can do an out of the theater reaction of just you, and I'll post it.
Yeah. Well, again, once I find out what the embargo date is, I will do what is appropriate.
All right. But yeah, I was invited. I really can't go. And I suggested Alan go in my stead. And he is, and I'm upset about it. Mainly because it was my decision. So it was my decision to do that.
Hey, gather him. Gather him. Okay.
All right, we can finally start the show.
Yeah.
Now that someone's not in the room.
Excuse me.
But let's go to comments here.
Yeah. From Jeddy Jibbin. Well done, Alan, with regards to New Scum. I just hate hypocrisy, that's all. Not a fan of it.
It's funny that you have so much in common with him.
I do.
I'm not sure what your SAT score is, but apparently he's dyslexic.
Yeah, actually we have the same SAT score.
Really?
I could tell you I aced the math and I failed miserably the verbal.
Oh. I did. Look, I think the highest you can get is 1,600. I had around 1,200. So not the highest, but respectable SAT score.
Yeah.
So,
I was urged by my school counselor to retake the SAT.
Wow. Yeah. Oh, really? With 960?
Yeah.
Wow.
But it was like, again, I'm dyslexic. It's the reading. I can't. And the worst part was like when I finally went to college, you have to take these assessment tests, and in English I failed the assessment test because I couldn't read, and so I take dumbbell English, and what do they make me do? They make me write essays, and then I had to have my essays reviewed by tutors. Well, my essays were perfect, and all the tutors are like, "Why are you here?" This is just how screwed up California education.
Well, I got lucky. I did not excel in math. I got confused with algebra. Now I feel like I have a good understanding of it. I did great on essay tests. I could ace any essay test, even if I didn't know a lot about the topic. I was a good bullshitter. So I would just excel any essay test. Yeah. Give it to me. What's the topic? I can pontificate. I did really well with that. So that was my area of strength.
Yeah. Like I said, I could do essays. I can write. I can't read.
Oh, well, there you go.
That's
There you go.
that's the irony of it all.
Well, I am looking forward. Please call me after you see Project Hail Mary, Alan.
Mhm. I'll tell you how bad it is.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be the case,
I
but
don't know.
please text or call or whatever.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to hear. I'm seeing all the reactions from people that are, have seen the early. It's for the junket. It's people who saw it. I don't know why. I don't know. First of all, I don't know how I get invited to things and then not get invited. I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean, you nailed it. It's the influencers. Most of these early screenings go to influencers because they want the positive news coming right out of the gate. That's why they're always 100% at these first
Yeah.
screenings on Rotten Tomatoes, and then they let the rest of us in to ruin their score.
Well, let's talk about a movie you and I have both not seen. I don't know if you ever played the game Mortal Kombat.
I've seen it played for many hours. I've never played it myself.
I love Mortal Kombat. I played the Sega Genesis version back in the day. Why? Because you could turn on the blood. That's why the MK2 version on Sega was the best. But there's a new trailer. They famously, this movie was supposed to come out, starring Carl Urban as Johnny Cage, was supposed to come out in the fall of last year. They moved it to summer. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. A new trailer has dropped. I have not seen it. I only heard that it dropped. So let's check it out. Alan, are you ready?
Yes, let's do it.
Here we go.
You want to know what makes a hero? It's not destiny. It's not something you're born with. It's searching for greatness.
Johnny Cage, you have been chosen for Mortal Kombat.
Then realizing you've had it in you this entire time.
Whoa! I really don't feel comfortable hitting a girl.
Don't worry. You won't.
Yo, send me back. I want to go back.
The rules of the tournament are simple. Our fates would not be settled by the size of our armies. They would be decided by combat.
I'm not some great warrior. I'm not some champion.
This is a war for the fate of your world.
Me.
Earth belongs to me.
We do not kneel!
Our only chance is to face this together.
Let's go, baby.
You, Johnny Cage, are a part of this now. It's showtime.
Get over here!
Johnny will definitely die.
Okay, that looks fun. Very accurate characters.
Mhm.
From Raiden, Liu Kang, very accurate to the game. It looks like it takes the game concept seriously. I don't know. It's going to be a tournament to the death. How far is it going to go? I mean, is it going to be? Are we going to see someone get their spine ripped out?
I mean, how can you not? I know they didn't in the early movies, but
Look, it's really going to be how gory is it? Is it as gory as the game? That's what I want to know.
Mhm.
So it looks, and also I like the idea of Carl Urban playing a Johnny Cage that's kind of new to this world. It's kind of a washed up old action star from a different era, a bygone era. And now he's thrust into this world where the stakes are life and death. I love it. I love it. I mean, it seems like the Street Fighter trailer we saw recently. That looks so good. It's, you know what? It only took decades to learn the lesson. Just make it look like, if the costume looks like this, just make it look like that. Just do that. You don't need to have some Hollywood designer, costume wardrobe person. You need to make it look like real world, but you don't need to reinterpret their costume. You don't need to do that. It was an annoying thing, like on the WB, whenever they'd have a new villain come into like some lame superhero show, they'd always wear a hoodie. That was their costume. Remember that era? It was lame. No, make them look like they look like in the comic book, in the cartoon, in the video game. Just look just like that. We're finally in that era. We've got Avengers Doomsday coming, and finally Cyclops, Scott Summers, is wearing his Cyclops costume from the comics and the cartoon. It's just, how is this so hard?
It's so easy. Yeah.
Taking this long.
So easy. It's like the story was already storyboarded for them. But my concern is for you, Chris. Are you concerned with the lack of white representation in the movie?
No, it's
and then worse, are you concerned about the lack of American representation?
I don't care about it's a perfect representation. They are well represented according to the game.
Yeah. So
I for one, you know what? I'm all in. I'm all in. It looks fun. I like Carl Urban. He fits this. I like him as Butcher in The Boys, even though The Boys last few seasons is, I don't know, gone off the rails. I'll watch the finale. But
yeah,
no,
I'll just say the trailer gave off the right tone in terms of this is a video game movie.
Yeah.
And we'll see.
Again,
I hate being skeptical, but we are still talking about Hollywood. We're talking about Warner Brothers.
Again, how gory will they go?
Mm-hmm.
That's the deal. Because the original game is very gory.
Yeah.
Very gory.
No, I remember walking by the video game, the arcade game, and just enamored. I stood there for an hour and a half, just watching spines getting pulled out of bodies, and the chain going across and grabbing the guy in. It was like I'd never seen a movie like this before, or a video game like that before.
Let's go to comments here. We've got a bunch of them. I don't know if Atomic Lorries.
Yeah, Jean Hu gifted 5 Film Threat memberships.
Oh, thank you, Sean Hu.
Big Chris 248. Hollywood will put their own gay twist in the movie. Yeah, I got to step out for like 30 seconds. A minute.
Okay.
All
right. Let's get some more comments here. The Lone Wolf Cub. I know the reference. Masters of the Universe doesn't look as interesting. Okay. And I forgot MK2 was getting released. Looks better than the upcoming Street Fighter. So there you go. Let's go to more comments here. I guess, are there more comments? No, they're not. All right. No, here we go. Calvin Martin, I'd rather see Dredd 2 or Carl Urban as Mad Max. Lord Thoth, fatality. Like that. If Bill S. Preston Esquire, if we have fatalities, what about babalities? I don't think it's going to go goofy like that.
Yeah, they already did that.
Yeah, I think it'll be either gory or not. So
Let's see. I will not eat the bugs. I forgot Mortal Kombat 2 was getting released. Looks better than the upcoming Street Fighter.
it looks well, I think both of them look very accurate,
Mhm.
but this looks like they've outlined the stakes.
Yeah. This has a darker tone than Street Fighter. Big Chris looks interesting. Never got into the game.
Yeah, Street Fighter series is much more sanitized, much more cartoony and over the top compared to Mortal Kombat series, which is gorier, bloodier, more R-rated, etc. So, hey, Alan, it's a good thing you don't have Tourette's.
Damn.
It's a good thing. I'm grateful for that. But we saw the controversy over John Davidson, who was in attendance at the BAFTAs for the film based on his life called I Swear, a film which you gave a very positive review to, having seen it at the Palm Springs Film Festival.
Yes.
And the controversy over the BAFTAs was over his use of the N-word during the ceremony that he was in attendance when Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo came out to present an award. It was an unfortunate circumstance that, well, look, the people to blame for this situation really are the BAFTAs, but real and in addition, people's ignorance about Tourette's, which the entire movie is about. Well, John Davidson gave an interview with Variety, and we've got some quotes here. It says, he gives his first interview, explains Tourette's tics after shouting N-word and other slurs at BAFTAs. I felt a wave of shame. But Alan, can you give us what else is in this story in this interview?
Let's see, I'll move down a bit, but Davidson says he reached out to apologize directly, emphasizing the emotional toll of the incident. I can't begin to explain how upset and distraught I have been as the impact from Sunday sinks in. He left the auditorium voluntarily to prevent further disruption and watched from another location. Davidson stresses that media stereotypes distort public understanding of Tourette's. His specific condition, coprolalia, involves involuntary obscene language, but only affects 10 to 30% of the people with the condition and is not a criterion for diagnosis. He explains that the real struggle is not the tics themselves, but public reaction. The real challenge isn't the tics, but the misconceptions surrounding them, he says. He has almost no ability to suppress his tics, especially under stress. He compares suppression to shaking a bottle of soda until pressure forces an explosive release. At the ceremony, rising nerves escalated his symptoms. The more nervous I got, the more my tics ramped up. Davidson attended because I Swear received 6 nominations, and he felt he had as much right to anybody to attend as anyone else. He says BAFTA indicated that swearing would be edited from the broadcast. However, he questions whether more could have been done, especially since he was seated far from the stage near a microphone. He assumed his voice would not carry to the stage. He only realized presenters could hear him when Jordan and Lindo appeared to react. Davidson described the BAFTA incident as an amplified version of his daily life. He reveals he previously been violently assaulted due to his tics, underscoring the danger and stigma he faces. Public reaction since the ceremony has now shown how persistent misunderstanding remains. Comments like, I wouldn't say these things unless I thought them, are deeply unsettling for me. Davidson asked journalists to avoid certain terminologies. Specifically, he prefers Tourette's to be described as a condition and not a disability.
Yeah, this whole thing is sad all around. I didn't know that they had seated him farther away, assuming he wouldn't be as close to the mic.
Yeah.
But look, I think the airing of it, which I guess included some they edited out and some they left in.
Well, one they left in.
That seems very suspicious to me, Alan. But we've seen a lot of it's blown up on social media. Even people coming after me to saying that, like, my whole thing was he has a right to be there. Absolutely.
He does. Yeah.
But they could have done more to mitigate. And they certainly didn't. The people who really failed in this whole situation were the producers of the show, which might not even be the BAFTA organization, right? There's
Right.
a difference. There's an organization, then there's people who make a TV show.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like a lot of the ignorant comments have just made this like even worse. I will say though, like I guess he has an organization that is a charity that he there might be a silver lining to this, more attention and understanding in the end.
Well, technically the movie was that. I mean, the movie brings out the organization he created. That's the third act of the film of turning lemons into lemonade here. But look, I think to the BBC's credit or to whoever the organizers were, they let him in the room because it was his movie. It was nominated for 6 awards, including Best Picture, Best Actor. He had the right to be there. And I think the best explanation or the best summation of this was that I heard was it's not that easy of an answer. You know, it's like, yeah, I definitely feel like it's you're screwed no matter what you do.
Right.
And I think that's the case here. But my point is, if there's anyone who should be defending John Davidson, it was everybody in the room at the BAFTAs. Because as you know, if you're a member of the BAFTAs and you're a voting member of the BAFTAs, you had to have seen his movie. You have had to understand the trouble and the stress he goes through. You have to understand that everything he did during that ceremony was normal for him. And the idea that the N-word is the worst. Well, one thing that no one's brought up is in the movie, John Davidson was on trial to go to prison for an outburst he made. He was on the verge because the judge didn't know anything about Tourette's and was almost going to throw him in jail. But his lawyer was good. He had a good lawyer who got him out of it. And that lawyer was black. And in the movie, guess what word John Davidson used, screamed at his lawyer constantly. Chris, tell me what that word would have been.
Would it be? I'm not going to say.
I mean, so even the N-word, people would have understood that he would have said that because it was in the movie that they were supposed to have seen. Wow. And so, yeah, it's just a sad situation that we can't find any empathy. I get it. It's a horrible word. But honestly, I hear that word half a dozen times on Sirius XM on the hip hop channels. So
let's go to comments.
All right. West Reviews. Please have Grace Randolph on Versus. Yes, Chris.
We can invite her. She's welcome.
Invite her on.
We'll debate. We have diversity of opinions on Versus.
Yeah, and she would definitely fit in the diversity category. The Green Henry Show. Notice that award show are only interested if there's an incident a la Will Smith or Tourette's.
Well, it's the only way these award shows get attention anymore is an incident.
Yeah, I think that's why maybe we wish they would start talking politics again in award shows. I Will Not Eat the Bugs. Jamie Foxx most affected. Yeah, next to Grace Randolph. Uncle Jimmy Jam. Jordan could have made it a teachable moment about Tourette's and stopped the racist BS in its tracks.
Absolutely. Hey, we've got one more news story before we get to our special guest today, which I'm going to update the little Chiron here. There we go.
Right. You got it?
I got it. But let's talk about this, Alan. Because I think Jim Agnew may have something to say about this. A slow motion eulogy for the TV industry. Alan, I know you have the story. I'll bring it up. Give me the highlights.
Okay. NBC ordered 8 pilots recently, and ABC and CBS added 2 each. That is a noticeable bump after years of decline. In 2024, networks ordered only 5 pilots total. In 2019, they ordered 66. The traditional pilot season created short-term chaos, but steady work. Sound stages were busy, writers' rooms were staffed, and even failed pilots created career opportunities. Traditional television is shrinking. CBS canceled The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, ending a decades-long franchise. Daytime talk shows from Kelly Clarkson to Sherry Shepherd are ending due to declining ratings. Fewer cable shows now draw 1 million live viewers weekly. Streamers like Netflix, Hulu, and Tubi are leaning into video podcasts and lower-cost programming. Free streamers such as the Roku channel and Pluto TV now account for 6% of U.S. TV use. Streaming now represents nearly half of all TV viewing. The peak TV boom created massive output but shorter seasons, reduced staffing, weakened the industry's middle-class workforce. Potential mergers involving WB and Paramount threaten further job losses. AI technology could reduce human involvement in production even more. The pilot season revival offers a small sign of life, but traditional television as a stable, labor-intensive ecosystem continues to contract, with commerce increasingly outweighing creative infrastructure.
I think the biggest thing that people don't talk about in this topic, TV, is the feedback loop with the audience, right? You would make a pilot and get feedback from the studio. You might even remake the pilot. In the case of Game of Thrones, they recast most of the people on Game of Thrones and made another pilot. They developed shows, and what they did was you would get an order for 26 episodes. You'd start making them and then airing the episodes, and as the season evolved, you might make changes mid-season. Maybe a character with a big bit part would be elevated to a series regular. You would take feedback from the audience. And how does feedback from the audience work? Even before the internet, feedback came in the form of ratings and letters or comments from viewers. And that feedback loop that came to writers from the audience that either loved or loathed the shows, I would argue, made the shows better. But now with streaming, you'll make an entire season of a show, and without any feedback from audiences, you just air the whole thing. No feedback loop. Or in the case of Starfleet Academy, you're shooting the second season before the first season even airs. This feedback loop, and I haven't seen anyone, no one has discussed this. Not any of the trades. Except us. Like, that feedback loop that was part of the ecosystem of making television is gone. It is what's hurt TV. The feedback loop, the audience was a part of the process. They're gone. It's let's do 6 of these. Let's do 10 episodes. Like, wait, what? You need ratings and audience feedback to see how your show is doing. Otherwise, you're spending what, 8-10 million an episode for Starfleet Academy? It's horrible. Alan, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, to add to that, television, even as a medium itself, is dying because we have this on-demand nature. Remember decades ago, 20, 30 years ago, television was appointment viewing, meaning you literally had to arrange your schedule so you could be at home in order to watch a television show. I remember Lost was that way. Thursday night, we were always home. We would never go out, and we would sit there and watch Lost, see what happened. And that model has gone anymore because, I fell into it. I don't watch live television anymore. I just wait for it to come on Hulu or wait for the next episode to come on Paramount Plus or whatever. So I think there are 2 or 3 realities here. One is, it's the quality of the shows, the fact that they don't get that feedback, the fact that that they're blindly pulling together 2 seasons without even seeing it. And the other thing is we've been accustomed and conditioned to watch television shows on demand. What's that show everybody likes on HBO? The Night of Three Tails.
Night of the Seven Kingdoms.
Night of Seven Kingdoms. I mean, look, there's no way I was gonna watch it every week. I can binge it now. There you go. I've been
You
conditioned.
can
I'm
watch
part
the
of the
whole
problem.
thing.
Part of the problem, yes.
Let's go to comments.
Yeah, RIP primetime television events. Plus, there's commercials.
Thanks. I will not eat the bugs.
Bill S. Preston Esquire. It's a change from short form episodes, which reset every week, to long form season arcs. They can't be as flexible with long form, and they refuse to add in isolated weekly stories.
All right. We have a special guest today, and I think that he may have an opinion about what we just discussed. Before we do that, before we bring on Jim Agnew, quick reminder to like, share, subscribe. What else, Alan?
Hit that bell for notifications. Sign up as a member. Join us on X, Discord, Rumble. One day we'll go back to Discord. And Instagram. Buy our merch at shop.filmthread.com.
And we've got Doomsday Duds. That's pretty cool. It's the Avengers logo done in the words Film Thread. I like that. Award This merch. I'm wearing the Award This jacket.
Why?
You can get one. Because it's cold in here.
Oh, because the Oscars can suck it.
Yes. And we have the Final Frontier, and then also Film Thread is for Lovers, our limited edition Valentine's themed jacket. I love it. I love it. All right. Let's reset here. Alan, we like to bring on people from the industry, insiders, talk to them about what's happening to Hollywood, to television. And Jim Agnew, friend of the show, my friend in real life, is a screenwriter, producer, and he's got a new book out. And let's talk to him about it. Jim Agnew. Hey, man.
Hey, guys.
What's going on?
Let's just clear something up. I got 790 on my SATs.
Whoa!
Wow, you're dumb.
I know. I couldn't even get halfway. I couldn't even get to 800. I had 790.
So
Oh my God.
You're bad at both English and math. Then.
Horrible at math. Horrible. I think I might have been hungover too when I did it, but hey, there's that. It was a Saturday morning thing.
It's amazing. People who fail the verbal SAT wind up being writers.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
And like you, Alan, I went to school in public school in California. So I'm going to blame them.
I went to public school in Michigan, but I was definitely a nerd. I was the guy that read books over the summer. Okay. That was what I did. So I excelled in one area, English, not so much on the math. But Jim, you've been on the show several times. We talked to you about what's going on in the industry. I'm going to show your book. I have the graphic up here to tell people about it. We'll discuss it. But a couple things. We were talking about, you were in the green room when we were discussing television. What do you think of the audience feedback loop of TV? Are we onto something? Has that hurt television?
You're completely onto something. And I'll take it even one step further. I had to go to one of those WGA member meetings a few weeks ago because I've been in the WGA like 15 years. And let's just say, because I have nothing in common with 99% of the people in the Writers Guild, let's just say that in the last 5 or 6 years, it looks like Starfleet Academy in real life.
No! Are you kidding?
No, I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. I mean, listen, I don't think they can throw me out for making fun of other members, and I'm too old to be hired on a TV show from some young show writer. So yeah, it looks like, blue hair, lots of COVID masks, beta males. Yeah, pronouns everywhere. It literally is reflective of like 2,000 people who look like they're in Starfleet Academy.
Holy cow. So what, I mean, you've often reached out to me of like, can you believe the WGA is wasting their time on this? Can you talk about that? Like, what has been the decline of this? I mean, I always thought the Writers Guild, these people who just work in these positions, they're very learned. You can make references to history or literature, and not everybody knows everything, but a lot of people there you'd have like really in-depth conversations. What is the WGA concerned with now?
Well, I think that where its downfall happened, and I talk about it in my book, is that, I mean, really, I hate blaming Netflix for everything, but Netflix really screwed up the whole industry, especially TV. They really did. And I'll tell you why, is because Netflix became so big, in 2016, 2017, where it really, really started to expand into TV and had all these hit shows. And that's why we saw Paramount Plus, Peacock, Hulu, everything, because all the other, networks or studios wanted to compete. They're like, why should we give our library to Netflix? Let's just have our own, launch pad, our own distribution network. Mm-hmm. And they just basically turn on money hoses to try to defeat Netflix. And I went to, and I think I talk about it a little bit in my book, I went to a meeting in like maybe 2016 at Netflix to pitch a TV show. And I remember sitting there and it was at their new offices, that big giant building they have, where Channel 11 used to be. And it was when that had just opened, and you could get like free sandwiches and any kind of coffee you want, everything. And we had just been pitching the same show to like ABC and other places in Universal, at old school bungalows from the 30s, right? Those little shitty bungalows they have. And I remember I said to the producer, I go, I don't know if I want to work with a company that spends this much on a lobby, because it was crazy. It was like being on the bridge of the Enterprise. And he said to me, and this is one of the smartest things anybody's ever said in the film, is he goes, dude, they're not an entertainment company, they're tech. It's all about market share. All about market share. He said it like 3 times. He goes, it's about market share. He goes, not about content. And so what happened basically, in my opinion, I saw it firsthand, is that so much money was being poured into these TV shows in the late 2000s, like around 2016, 17, 18, 19, right before COVID, that it fueled all the DEI stuff, because it didn't matter if you made something good. It was all about just putting things out. And if you look at the, like I said, the way that the people that got in the WGA, they just started letting people in left and right, because, and it was especially TV. If you have 300 TV shows, TV, you can hire whoever you want. Features is a little bit more, discerning. You can't just jump into features. But if you want to hire this person, that person, you can. And I know a lot of showrunners that experienced that and just said, by the way, I'm getting over a cold, so sorry about my voice.
Oh, good, man.
A lot of showrunners, they hired all these young kids who it was like their first or second job, and they ended up having to write their episodes, and they wouldn't get paid for it. The more experienced writers, because the show would just stall. So a lot of people, like you said, Chris, until about the last 10 years, a lot of people who wrote for a living were very learned, let's say.
Yeah.
Had a lot of experience. Took many years to get into where they were at. And then suddenly a lot of people just got in, and they got in for various reasons, which, I don't want to sound crass, but what I'm talking about. It wasn't about their skill set. So that has been, I think, the big decline, is there are not a lot of quality shows because there's not a lot of quality writers anymore, especially in TV.
Wow. And that's certainly one reason. I do think that the feedback loop was something that actually made shows better.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember Twin Peaks. There were Twin Peaks message boards. Twin Peaks in the 90s was appointment TV. And then Lost, when that show launched, what was it, like 2005, I think, ish, around there. That show was revolutionary. So, yeah, I think taking the feedback loop off really has hurt things.
Well, that's how networks did things, and then streamers decided to do it differently, because they'd have co-productions, or, Netflix would be doing something with BBC or this or that. So they would just, again, they needed content. So it's like, why would we screw around with pilots? We just need to go make 10 of these, 12 of those, 6 of these, 5 of these, and we'll put it on our, Netflix isn't just in America, it's everywhere, so it's in every country in the world. So that's a big reason too. I think a lot of those co-productions were the reason they just started ditching the pilot system.
I also wonder, I mean, how are they learning to write? I mean, it doesn't feel like college
Exactly.
is teaching them that. I brought up in the D files, it just felt like they need to fill a diversity quotient, and in doing so, they nudged out all the people with all the experience, and forced them out in order to do this arbitrary balance that they seem to need to have.
Yeah, there's that too, because a lot of writing it's not just being the best writer in the room. It's about doing the work and being able to do the work fast and being, able to get it done. It's like you don't have time to sit around, smoke cigarettes and be up at 3 a.m, that romantic version of writing. It's like sometimes right, motherfucker, go. We need this tomorrow. Again, I talk about it in this book that my old writing partner and I, we worked on a rewrite for John Carpenter's last movie. We did an uncredited rewrite. They said, hey, you're hired, but you got 5 days. We're giving it to Amber Heard on Monday. Like shit like that. So that's also part of it too. You have to be good and fast, be able to talk in the room, talk about things. Mm-hmm. But one thing I'll add too is that every meeting I ever went to, and I went to thousands of meetings at studios and stuff, it was always about like, what's the story? Is the story about love? Is it about freedom? And then literally like in 2017, 2018, it became about, well, what's the social issue? What are we trying to say? It turned into like, what are we trying to say? Like almost overnight. And I don't know how it just encompassed the entire business, but you had to go in with like, oh, it's about this. And we're trying to say this, so that happened too.
Are there discussions about the audience? Like, who are we writing this for?
Since I wrote a book, which I'll probably never get another job again. But since the film business is dead, I don't care. The thing that I've discovered is we always talk about Democrats and Republicans and right left. The biggest problem, especially in TV, is that it's class. There's most my sister works in fashion and she always jokes we're the only 2 idiots in LA that don't have trust funds. There's a lot of people in the film business who are from very high class families. They went to the best universities. They went to the best colleges. They've never had to worry about doing a paycheck and making a paycheck in their life because they're taken care of. And that's how a lot of people get in the film business, either family connections, or you can go work for Ron Howard for free for 2 years because your family's subsidizing your income, And so a lot of people end up, just coming from a class system that they don't understand 99% of the country. Yeah. They just don't. I went to a dinner one time when, listen, I'm very independent in my thinking, but I can be all over the place with politics. But we went to a dinner with these people, and this guy had been ahead of a studio, and it was when January 6th was going on. And he said to me, he goes, are these just people just that stupid and uneducated? And then I realized he had grown up in Manhattan, gone to a Ivy League school, instantly got a job out of college at a studio, ended up running a studio, a big one. I'm not going to say which one. And I realized he's never met a poor white person in his life. He doesn't know they even exist. So I'm getting on my soapbox. Sorry, guys.
No, I want you to.
Stay on it.
But that's a big part of it. I think that a lot of the people now, it's TV is the worst because TV is a more corporate setting. At least in features, there's more business involved. But if Paramount says they want to make 10 episodes of something, they can hire whoever, do whatever. It'll either be a good show or a bad show. But there's a lot of people who most of them are not like normal people. They don't interact with normal people. They don't know what people are like.
I had that same revelation you had when I would go to Sundance every year. And my assumption was everyone was a blue collar Kevin Smith. I charged my movie on credit cards. I sold my comic book collection. I sold blood. If you're Robert Rodriguez, I did whatever it takes to get my movie. But after a while, I began to realize that's the exception. The rule was I saw more often were trust fund kids, the sons and daughters of the rich and wealthy and connected. I would ask, because I would always ask, how did you get the money or the movie? It's something that other people would want to know. Mm-hmm. And it would be whenever someone was vague, I'm like, oh, you're on art welfare. I mean, your family funds your lifestyle. So you can spend 3 years working on a documentary, not getting paid that's funded by grant that someone helped you get it, and money is so easy to come by when you're at a certain level. So it totally changed what I thought about Sundance and festivals in general, that like, oh, this is all just the friends and the people who work at the festival just elevate the people they know.
Yeah.
It's really disheartening. So people like, that's why I give people like Kevin Smith and Robert Rodriguez like props, because they're just grinding regular dude who decided to do something really stupid, like spend 20 grand on a movie or whatever it is. So that's more rare these days. But
yeah, and there's a lot of, I'm not going to name names, but there's a lot of big directors that came up in the 90s. A couple of them I knew personally, that came from uber wealthy families. You know, how did they go shoot a short film on a weekend with a 35 millimeter camera and a crew, you know, in 1994 when they're 23 years old? You know,
Doug Lyman.
Yeah, exactly.
On my note.
Yeah. So, you know, I mean, it's like, so there's that, but that's why I think people are really out of touch. It's not just politics. I think it goes deeper. I think it's more a class issue than even politics. And one kind of ties into the other, but there's so many people out there that don't connect with what's going on, you know, and unfortunately the people making the projects don't understand them.
All right. Some direct questions.
Is the never gonna work again?
Let's do it. Will the WGA go on? And people should know like who you are. Like, you were screenwriter, you had a writing partner, you sold stuff, some films, a lot of films got made.
Yeah.
But I want to get to that question in a minute. But like, give people your background so they can, back up what you're saying.
Yeah, well, my first job out of college, I got a job at a studio, Fox, and I was like a coordinator. I learned a bunch of stuff there. Then I went to work for Carl Masick and Streamline Pictures, who brought all the anime over.
Yeah.
So I was very heavily involved in the first company that, you know, brought all the anime over. We brought Akira over. We did all that stuff. Then somehow I bullshitted my way into producing a movie at, I think I was only 27 or 28. It was like $1 million film. I didn't know what I was doing. I just said I knew what I was doing and got hired. And then from there, I got more producing gigs. I produced the first sci-fi original motion picture called Soul Keeper, the very first one they ever did. Produced some big music videos, got nominated for a Video Music Award. Then produced a couple other independent films. I did one with like David Boreanaz and some things. And then I was like, I can write. So I started writing. And then before you knew it, I sold like 50, 60 scripts or optioned them and just, you know, had about 20 movies made. So, and I just had 2 made last year, one with Josh Duhamel. And I produced a movie with Kyle Gallner, when I wrote, when I produced. So yeah, I'm always working. So I'm not complaining about the film business because I'm out of work. I've been working like crazy and I'm producing like 3 films right now, but it is very interesting times.
But you're not necessarily in the system, so to speak.
No, not anymore. I was for a few years. And then I also talk about it in my book. It's like literally, I don't know what happened, but about 2016 when Trump got elected, or well, I guess he took office 2017, and all the streamers kind of got weird. I suddenly my agent goes, I can't get you a job. You're white. Just out of nowhere. It started happening like crazy, you know? So, and like all the time, like, can't put you up for that. You're white. Can't get that. You're white. They don't want a white person for that. I mean, they would just tell you. I had a white agent. He didn't care about, he was cool. He would just say, you're white. I can't white. Let's not waste our time. So I kind of ended up getting just pushed out of the system, you know? It wasn't that I didn't want to be part of it. I sold a TV show to ABC and got paid a lot of money to write a few pilots, but they never got made. But most of my experience is in features.
You know, I don't know if you saw that Woody Allen movie called The Front. He didn't direct it. He started it. And it's about someone who hires, Woody Allen to be a front, to be a writer.
Yeah, during the Blacklist era.
Couldn't you have hired a black person to just pretend to be you and sell some scripts? Why not?
Thought about it.
We should remake The Front and make it about today.
Yeah.
Look up that. It's a very obscure movie. Woody Allen only was acting in it. He didn't make it. He normally is a writer director, but that movie, like, really stuck him out. It's like, yeah, it's about the Blacklist.
And
I mean,
look,
are the current times we're in, like we're going through another blacklist phase? Because coming out as say, and you're very independent. I don't think you're conservative necessarily, or one way or another. You're very middle of the road. You're like me. I'm a 90s liberal trapped in the present.
yeah, like
Like,
Joe
I'm-
Rogan, and people don't fit in anywhere anymore. You know,
Yeah. Just we
Yeah.
don't, or as they call us sometimes, Nazis or fascists. But I'm just like, we're living in this weird time. I mean, it's kind of like a new blacklist, because literally I saw if you come out as conservative in Hollywood, it's they're not celebrating you. That if you come out, if you're trans or gay, they're all over. You're great, you're amazing. How brave. You come out as conservative, you're just a target. It's weird how the media has vilified groups of people to a way that I think is very destructive for society.
Yeah, and the thing is too that's sad is for an industry that's supposed to be so open-minded and creative, like they're all in lockstep 99% of the time. You know, if you say something against it doesn't have to be anything ridiculous. You just kind of say something like, and they'll be like, "What?" And you're like, "Okay, never mind." Yeah. So it's like, but again, it's that perspective that's theirs. That's not the rest of the world.
Right. Well, it's weird because we're like, it's like I kind of feel like the invasion of the body snatchers. You could do a new. Why don't you reboot that, Jim, and do it today? They remade that movie many times. They was the Kevin McCarthy version in the 50s. They made the one with Donald Sutherland.
The Abel Ferrara version's awesome.
Abel Ferrara. Why not redo it in Hollywood about everyone thinking the same? Because I get that feeling. Like, I will overhear conversations. I'm shocked what people will be willing to say publicly about other Americans and people that are my friends, right?
Yeah.
It's shocking what they feel safe saying out loud when you're like, that's a horrible thing to say about other people. I'm kind of like, I don't know who owns the rights to invasion
to the front.
Probably MGM or something. But yeah, no, it's like, I mean, I don't know how many times I went to meetings like after Trump got elected where people were like, that fucking Trump. And they just assumed like all 12 people in the room just all thought identical to them. You know, we're doing these diatribes and things. It's like, okay, all right. And can we talk about the movie or the TV show, that we're talking about? It would take forever to get there. So
I feel like it's dominated conversation in a way that's not good.
I was just going to say, I don't think it matters as much anymore because, the streamers and the studios and everybody are gasping to make money. So if you've got something like, if the most right-wing guy showed up with the next weapons and they thought they could make $300 million, I don't think they'd give a shit now.
Yeah. All right. Let me ask you directly. Will the WGA go on strike? What is going on?
I don't know. I don't know.
Do they have to resolve the current strike before they can go on strike?
Yeah, that's a whole nother. We can talk about that in a second, but
please,
that's a whole nother Kafka-esque like South Park episode that's going on. I don't know if they're going to go on strike or not because there's so few people out of work. They might. It could be counterintuitive. By the way, I just realized there's a watering thing for plants right there.
Well, there you go. That's great.
Got to do my chores later. But I don't know. I mean, it's counterintuitive that sometimes when everybody's not working, they want to go on strike. Why not is the thought. A lot of it has to do with the health fund and AI again, that's basically it. And they want more money, but I don't know what the studios are going to do. They may just say nope. Cause I think the WGA and SAG and I mean, those two unions, DGA is kind of a little bit separate are kind of not in a good position to bargain.
They have no leverage.
Yeah, they don't have much leverage. So, because there's only like 10% of the people in WGA are working right now. So, it's like there's not a lot of money coming in. So, what are they going to do? I don't know. A lot of it has to do with the health fund, which I'm not telling anything secret because there's articles about it, that it's pretty much broke. So, because no one's making money. And there's a lot of people on TV. If you work for 10 years, you save these like units to get free health care when you're not working. So there's tons of people getting health care that aren't working. So it's all upside down.
Well, the good thing is healthcare is so inexpensive in California.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's funny because, I hope I don't get in trouble for saying this, but somebody on the board at the WGA the other night, I went to one of those meetings a few weeks ago. They said that we have a dysfunctional healthcare system. And I'm sure they were like a Democratic supporter of like Obama. So I hate hypocrisy, and the irony just makes me laugh.
Well, I mean, we're at a point now where California could go red. I mean, they pick the two top contenders are going to possibly be Republicans, where your choice is one Republican or a different Republican. And LA may even go, Spencer Pratt may be the mayor of LA. I think if anything, Karen Bass, if you look at her comments section, the current mayor of LA, the people troll her in the comments. I saw videos of her getting heckled in Chinatown. People are I can see with my eyes that California is not doing well. I don't need to be on one side of the aisle or another to look with my eyes to see that this state is not doing well. I just paid $5 for gas.
Yeah.
Which is half of that is tax.
Yeah. I'll take the whole mayor race one step further. Is that, Nathia Raman's, running for mayor, our council person from Hollywood who represents Hollywood. And I would say to everybody in the film business, if you vote for her, you're an idiot, because she represents Hollywood. She's done nothing in the last few years. She passed some dumb thing about permits that would save you like a couple $100 if you did a $2 million movie. And her husband works in the TV and film industry and takes all his productions to New York and New Jersey. So if you're in the film business, you shouldn't vote for her no matter what. I mean, which makes it sad that almost like you'd have to vote for Karen Bass. So whatever. All right. So
vote for Spencer Pratt. I follow him. He's very common sense. He's common sense. He wants to bring production back to LA.
Well, there's one thing you just talked about, with healthcare, and the reason, and I try to explain this all the time to people, the reason productions are leaving California and America, the main reason is because we don't have socialized medicine, and the UK and all those countries in Europe do. Whether you believe in it or not, that's why we're losing all the productions. Because you can pay, if I hire actors in America with SAG, I have to pay like 27, 28% on top of what they get paid. And in the UK, it's like 6%.
Yeah.
For pension and health. So, it's just, and if you add up all those people working, it becomes hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, and you're just paying in pension and health. It's not going into the film. So that's another problem that no one addresses. That's why so many productions are leaving.
Well, it goes back to the bureaucracy argument. There's just too much overhead that basically does nothing for the film itself, as opposed to paying for the film and the people working on the film and all that stuff.
So, oh man, it's all bad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, didn't you have an interesting concept you want to get on the ballot? Tell us about that, and then we'll get to your book.
I wanted to try to get it on the ballot this year, but it's not going to work. Is that I think, because I've lived my whole life in California, and they just waste our taxes like crazy. So what I wanted to do was try to get a proposition that if you had a business with 100 employees or less, and you're in California, you don't have to pay any sales tax. So that way you can either hire more people, you could lower prices to compete with, like, if you have a coffee shop, you can compete with Starbucks. You don't have to pay any sales tax. So you basically get a 10% bonus, for having a business, and, giving it back to either reducing prices or hiring more people. And I'd go a step further, saying that we should have a rent freeze on commercial property for any business for 2 years with 100 employees or less. That seems like common sense. How many restaurants do you guys see going out of business all the time?
Well, that would help small business, but
Well, we should lower minimum wage too, because I've got a teenager who can't find a job because no one wants to pay her $20 an hour.
Yeah. Well, let me just add this one thing. This is why I'm getting more political lately and getting really mad at California. Is they increased the incentive program. They doubled it. They put like $150 million in there, but you can only apply during a window. So you can apply like once a month, maybe. You have to do a jobs report. None of the above the line applies. So it's basically not competitive with any other state or any other country. So what the fuck are we doing? We're going to bring production back by putting more money into a system that already failed.
Yeah, there's, I mean, one of the big things about the pandemic that was awful was how much it affected small business, corporations, and a lot of the rules. Like while Cheesecake Factory could bend over and follow all the rules, little small restaurants and businesses suffered. Lucy's El Adobe on Melrose Avenue, across the street, iconic restaurant across the street from Paramount, out of business after decades, been around forever. That restaurant, I loved that restaurant. I knew I knew the bartenders, and that restaurant was iconic. Gone among so many others I could name.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable. It's disgusting. The problem is, I think, also in a broader sense, we're going to get to your book. In a broader sense, the people attracted to government don't know. It's like the whole problem with the sons and daughters of the rich, wealthy, connected, the nepotism. They come from government. The only way they know to be innovative is to raise taxes. How do you get money? You raise taxes. They aren't creative. You need incentives. You need incentives to grow, because if you grow the tax base, people making money, and you are innovative, like you're an entrepreneur, which is, I think, that like Trump's idea, no tax on tips. Gavin Newsom threw that out for California. Yeah. This is something that benefits so many people. You're not being taxed on your tips. Yeah. That's it. Or overtime. That's
because it's like the film business. They've never had to pay their rent and worry about making bills.
The people attracted to government, commie socialist Karen Bass and others that are in government. Gavin Newsom never worked an honest day in his life, that they never had to make money. And that's, look, I run Film Threat like it's a bit, I'm the last person to get paid. I do pay myself, but I pay everybody else before myself. We make money. We do well. I do well. We don't do well. I don't do well. When you have that hanging over your head, you're an entrepreneur. And as an indie filmmaker, Jim, you're an entrepreneur. Yeah. Every movie you start is a new venture.
It's like a new business.
The people attracted to government are not creative. Stop electing lawyers and communists into government. We need creative thinkers that are entrepreneurial, that will stimulate money so you collect more taxes. Why? Because people are making money.
Chris, if you keep talking like this, we're never going to get that train.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this. If Gavin Newsom runs for president, I will do a podcast only about to derail his run. I'm going to derail his run.
I will do anything to help you with that, because
good.
Yeah. People don't understand outside of California, like how it used to be.
He's so hated. God. You visibly see how California's gone downhill. I have so many friends who have left. Gary Beekler, Nerdrotic, my friend Dante James, he left. So many friends. I can't make money here anymore. There are no mid-level jobs. There's nothing. Hey, let's talk about.
You wrote a book right there.
Yeah, I wrote a book.
Let's talk about your book, To Live and Write in LA. Great title. I'll bring it up on screen here, and then I have your website. This book came out today. Is that right?
It came out today. The reason I wrote it was just, I got tired of seeing all these people on LinkedIn that are experts in how to sell scripts or how to work in the film business, and they have no credits and they've never done anything. So I kind of wanted to do almost like a Kitchen Confidential kind of style book about what it's like working as a screenwriter. It doesn't tell you anything about how to write a script. It just says, once you've got one, here's what's happened to me. hopefully it won't happen to you. I try to impart some wisdom. At the end of the book, I actually put a couple of sections about chain of title, why agents don't want to read your script, how to properly format a TV show when you pitch it, because I get asked that all the time. So it's just kind of like hopefully a helpful guide to people, because no one told me this stuff. When I first sold a couple scripts and things, I had very young managers who were hustlers, but they couldn't give me any guidance because they were new too. So a lot of these things I had to learn, on the fly, and I got ripped off a lot of money, had scripts stolen, you name it. There's a lot of horror stories in the book, had agents screw me, but I just wanted to kind of tell this story about like how it all works and shine a light on actually what it's like working professionally as a screenwriter for 20 years, grinding and making money, but getting things made. And then there's a lot of defeats too in the book.
I mean, there's some of the stories. I mean, there's like, I don't know if you want to tell this story. There's a country or at least a hotel you can never go back to.
Yeah, I may be a fugitive for life from Italy because of a movie I worked on, and they didn't pay my hotel bill, and I had to sneak out of the country in the middle of the night. So yeah, there's a lot of weird things show up in this book. A lot of crossing paths with strange people, like it's a great way to make a living, but it's also super chaotic, so I wanted to kind of show it. And, people always ask me about these things. So I'm like, you know what, I'll write a book. And, it was pretty easy for me to put my book out because, as my girlfriend owns a successful publishing company. So that makes it a lot easier to put it out. So, but the one thing I did do, just so everybody knows, is I didn't write this to make money. Like right now, if you wanted to buy the book on Amazon, it's only 99 cents for a Kindle copy. So I'm just for the first few weeks, I'm basically giving the book away. So if you want to go on Amazon and get a Kindle copy, it's 99 cents. And all I ask is just, if you like it, write a good review.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm going there now. I'm going there now. Oh, that's great.
Yep.
Dude.
99 cents.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
99. We'll put the link in the description. But what are some of the, because the one thing is, I've seen a lot of people do advice books that don't really, you have all the cred. You've done it. You've produced, you've written, you've sold scripts. I mean, this is coming from a place of, and by the way, it's wildly entertaining. I haven't read the whole thing, but it's wildly entertaining book.
Thanks. I mean, there's a lot of like horror stories of things you would never think of. Like, one of my favorite chapters is when we went to go pitch a sci-fi project at Universal, and the guy the big exec could greenlight the movie, who was coming to listen to our pitch, and he starts talking about the pitch, and then halfway through the pitch, I look at the executive that brought us in to Universal, and we realized that he had read the wrong script. So it's like he's talking about a different movie altogether, and I'm like, do we say anything? I didn't want to get the executive in trouble at Universal. And then halfway through the pitch, somebody told me he had read the wrong script. He goes, okay, fine, left. And we never heard from him again. It's like things like that happen, so there's a lot of interesting stories.
Look at this, 99 cents. It's $20 for the paperback.
Yeah, but trying to fix that. I don't know why that is, but that's too much. I wouldn't expect anybody to pay $20 for my book.
Well, also you've got, I'll share here too, your website. I'll share. I've got it here somewhere.
It's just my name at .com, jimagnew.com. And
yeah, here it is. There you go.
Look at me. Look at that.
I'll accept the cookies, and you can message you all your movies you've made are here. You can link to that. This is great. We have a lot of questions from our audience.
Yeah, let's answer some questions.
Let's answer some questions and get down to like the nitty gritty here. Alan, let's start here.
Yes. Let's see. Storymaster for 10. As a film and TV industry professional, I can relate to Jim's stories about the privileged elite from Hollywood. It's not the meritocracy we were sold on.
True.
Any comments on that?
Well, listen, I mean, here's the thing too, is like, I come from a lower middle class background, and went to public schools and had no connection. So like I've made a few movies that, I'm not necessarily super proud of, but I have to work. Was I aching to write Van Damme's Kill 'Em All 2? No, but I need to get paid and pay the bills. So, that's also part of we really didn't discuss is like when you don't have that cushion, like Sofia Coppola could take 10 years to make a cool film. I can't, I got to work, so that's also what happens too, is you have to just fight and scrap for the work you can get. You can't be selective. So
Here we go.
Did you at least get to meet Van Damme? Did you at least get to meet Van Damme?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. You know what I did? He's got a goal. We were supposed to meet for coffee to talk about notes, and he was like a half hour late. And then they go, "Oh, he's going to be another half hour late." I left.
What?
Yeah. I told his assistant, I go, "If he's not going to be a pro, I'm not going to be a pro." And then he met me the next day on time.
That's great.
Yeah, you can't if you let he's a really nice guy though. He's actually really cool.
Yeah. Let's start from the top here.
All right, caveat ties. I'm starting to work on script writing. What's a good outlet to send anything to anyone anymore? To send anything to anymore.
I guess he means who to send your scripts to. I would
anything
say,
to anyone, maybe that's what he's saying.
I'd say right now that there's really successful people struggling to get movies made in the regular traditional system. So you have to go make your own AI movie or make your own movie or make a short. You have to do it yourself. I would not rely on the system. The system is so broken that it used to be super hard to get into before. Now it's like impossible, because again, there's so many people out of work that have made hundreds of millions of dollars for studios that are pitching projects as well.
I mean, I would imagine if you submit your thing, it no longer becomes your thing.
Well, look, your follow-up to this book should be a book about your producing career call it Produce Yourself, because that's what you did when the industry said, "Sorry, we're not hiring your kind of person anymore." You just said, "Fine, I'll do it myself." You put on the Infinity Gauntlet and you decided to do it yourself.
Yeah.
And you produced movies that you wrote and others that other people wrote.
Yeah.
And you decided to do that. That's the key. That's what I tell everybody. Actors, how do you get cast? Just produce something starring you.
Well, that's also one thing I talk a lot about in this book, that the only reason I've had a long-term career is because very early on, I learned about the business side, so if you understand the business, you have such an advantage to people that don't, because you just understand how things work, where you should be focusing your energy on. Don't screw around with that. Go to that person, get that actor on the movie, not that actor. So that really helped me, was learning the business side of things.
Another question here.
Yes, from our good friend Christopher Moonlight Productions. Here's the elephant in the room. The goal is to make California unaffordable to everyone, so no one wants to live there, and the Friends of Sacramento can buy the state for pennies on the dollar, like in the Palisades. I added that last.
Yeah, I think he's giving our friends in Sacramento too much credit. It's almost like the Joker. Do I look like I have a plan? I mean, come on, they're not that sophisticated.
Yeah, let's go. More questions.
But they're
here.
underwriters. West Reviews will be buying this book. The only book I had when I was wanting to be a screenwriter was in college, was The Garbage Ones by Sid Field.
Yeah, I mean, look, I would say, other than William Goldman, who wrote many fantastic movies, most of the screenwriting books are written by people who never even sold a script. So it's like, I don't know what the Save the Cat guy ever did. But that's why I kind of talk about in the book, the first page just says, I'm not going to teach you how to write a script. There's plenty of that. And here's the thing. If you like movies, you watch movies nowadays, especially, you can pull up every screenplay in the world on the internet. I'm sure Chris, you guys probably did what I did. You'd have to go buy them down at that store in Hollywood for like $12. And every time, if I was going to write a spy movie or a thriller, I'd try to get a copy of the screenplay just to see how it was formatted, and how they kind of did certain things. Now you can get everything. If you understand, timing and just basic movie structure, you don't need a book. You can watch a movie and see how it works.
Yeah, I mean, like also Paul Thomas Anderson said you can listen to Laserdisc commentary at the time. That's how he learned a lot, was going to school, but also he listened to commentary relentlessly.
Yeah, I did that too. I listened to the funniest one I've ever heard was Cruel Intentions DVD.
Oh,
that one was hilarious.
Well, one of my favorites is Steven Soderbergh, because he'll always do the commentary with the screenwriter of the movie.
Yeah.
And in one, it was the Limey. If you get the Limey DVD, he gets in a fight with the screenwriter, and they left it in. And the screenwriter was like angry that he made certain changes, and they hashed it out. It's one of the best commentaries I've ever heard for the Limey with Terrence Stamp.
Yeah, great movie too.
Yeah, it's great. Well, what are you working on? I mean, you've got the book out. You've got an idea for the sequel to the book. Produce yourself. You should, because your transition, I find it fascinating. You transitioned from a place of like, I'm not really in control of my own destiny, right? When you're a screenwriter, you're at the whim of who likes you. Yeah. And then they'll pay you. Because I've noticed that's a thing. People will hire their friends that they like, regardless of if they're able to do the job. Yeah, there's a screenwriter who I can't stand his work, and I'll just say who it is. He's never going to hire me. Damon Lindelof, is that his name?
Oh yeah, from Lost. Yes,
I think he's horrible, but I've heard many times he's the best guy in the room ever at pitching stuff and just enthusiastic and cool. That's why he gets hired. Well, there is a thing also with people that are just fun to be around. Yeah, they get hired. And then there are people, because I'll tell you this, having gone to events with screenwriters and Directors Guild members, I could tell this. The DGA, you shake the hand of a director, it's a firm handshake. You feel they clench your fist. Writers, you shake their hand, it's like a wilted letter. They can't look you in the eye. You look in the eye. They're because they live in their head, usually at home alone, stressing all day and writing for 3 hours. It's a different personality type. Yeah. You've got the both. You've got the writer and director personality, which makes you a competent producer. Yeah, that's why I'm a good producer. But also, it's why I don't fit in with like the Writers Guild people either. You know, it's like just different personality, completely different. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. Like, okay, so I want to hear, before we let you go, want to get some more nuggets from the book, and I want to remind people it's on Amazon. You can go. Now I got to say, is there a link on your website? It's
but I think the best. It's in a couple places, but I think the best place just go to
here.
Amazon.
It is.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know
if those links work.
Okay, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Target. Cool. On your website, just look it up, To Live and Write in LA. Give us a couple more nuggets from the book because there are a lot of like crazy stories mixed with real practical advice.
Well, one thing, because this is more filmmaking advice or screenwriting advice, is my old writing partner and I, one of the first, we got hot for a couple of years. We sold a couple scripts, had a really great sample. We're going to a lot of big meetings. And I remember we were up for the gig to turn Scott Pilgrim versus the World into a script from a comic book. But it was before Edgar Wright was involved, right? So, and it was our first big opportunity. And it was at Universal. I think it was at Universal. And Mark Platt was producing it. You know, he's a big producer. And they sent us all the comic books. And they'd only had like maybe 3 or 4 of them out at that time. And so you had to kind of bullshit through the rest of the story and create an outline. And we'd never pitched anything. So we went in with like an 18-page pitch and talked for like an hour and a half straight. And everybody's just like looking at us. And then later I realized when you go pitch something, you should do it for like 10 minutes, not an hour and a half, have every single detail. You know, but we didn't know. We're just like, and then this happens. And then that happens. And then this happens. And then this happens. And they're just sitting there for like hours, just go, okay, dudes, get over it. Just get it over. But then it talks about, though, how we went into one job writing a pilot and completely underpitched it. Just gave a couple sentences, said, this is what it's about, and left the room. And we got hired. So it's like sometime, and that was like adapting a James Patterson book for a network show. And we got paid really well. It never got on the air. But the thing is, those are things you learn, and then when I sold a TV show to Lionsgate, and then we went pitched to streamers and networks, Lionsgate like trained us to like only talk for 8 to 10 minutes, pitch the whole show, and then make it conversational. So there's like these things I put in the book that I had to learn the hard way. That is the way that kind of like, because you're always selling. You got to be selling. You have to get open writing assignments. I also go into really big detail about what a great sample will do for you. You have to have a sample script. There's a whole chapter about that. And, you have to show your wares. You have to show, how what you're going to do if you get hired. So, yeah, it talks through a lot of things. So, and I talk about getting in the WJ and, how David Goyer gave us a big lecture when we got in, and it was like, didn't really apply to anybody in the room. He's talking about $80,000 residual checks and shit. I'm just like sitting there going, I don't know if I'm ever going to get any of those, but there's just a lot of funny stories about being around crazy people,
Well, you have to be crazy to be a part of this industry. We'll put the link to to get Jim's book in the description, including any clips we pull. I want to let people know that there's an issue with YouTube now.
Oh.
If you could read that, Alan.
Yeah, the YouTube issue is that your account appears to be shadow banned. You post a comment and it will be gone when you reload chat.
So I don't know. There's a YouTube bug going right now. So
Are you sure it wasn't because we were talking about Gavin Newsom? He shadow banned.
Probably.
Yeah. Well, Rumble's okay, I guess. And then Davina Duckworth comments, Jim didn't learn the elevator pitch. Like, I mean, that's funny that you figured it out, but through,
Well, I mean, it's a little bit different to an elevator pitch, but then be like brought in with like 12 executives and, they give you the comic books and say, okay, how would you turn this into a feature film, with Mark Platt sitting there and you're in this big conference room with all these people and, so, but yeah, learned it pretty quick, but then there's also another story about how I sold a script that I ran into a producer at a coffee shop and gave her the elevator pitch. And, a week later we were hired to write it. So,
I'll never forget. I'm not going to say what it is. You told me a pitch for an action movie you had that was one of the coolest. It was a sci-fi script. It was sci-fi and action. Do you remember?
Was it the teleportation one?
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
When you told me the basics of that, I was blown away. It would be the biggest, expensive, very expensive.
Want me to give the elevator pitch on that if I can remember?
Yes.
It's
I want people to get an example of what is an elevator pitch. Okay. When I heard this, you told me this over a decade ago. I never forgot this pitch.
Okay, let's see if I can even remember the storyline. So, all right, the future, there's people, the way people travel is they go to, airports, but they're like almost like fuselage hubs. They all sit in like a plane, but it has no wings. It's not on a, runway. They get in and they teleport to somewhere else. And it's basically you go to the airport to teleport. And they have you in this system and you go from here to there. These big teleportation hubs, these terrorists that are all mad about something, I forget what. They hack the system and they steal the hard drives while everybody's in transit. So in their backpack, they've got like 40,000 people while they're on the run and people are chasing them after them. And then everybody has some kind of thing in their head, a chip, but there was a guy who was injured. He's the specialist who could only have to go get him. I don't know. I forget it was and then like the president's daughter was in transit. That was one of the people that was a part of the hub. And it was basically a bunch of guys running around with 40,000 people in their backpack digitally, encoded while they're, asking for, it's like Die Hard, so I don't remember exactly, but it had a cool concept.
No, it was just a simple concept that I never forgot. The way you pitched it back.
Yeah,
when
it's
you
been
could
10
remember
years.
most of-
Oh, I think too, if they didn't catch them in like 10 hours, the files would degrade and everybody'd be gone too. So it was like a ticking clock. It was all that stuff. So
let's see. Comment here.
Yes, Jim Agnew, will you get will you get a lot more money if I buy the paperback or the Kindle for the $20 versus $99?
you know, for everybody who doesn't know, Amazon does print on demand. So you don't really get much money for books unless you sell like astronomical amounts of them, because they don't keep them in stacks. They print it every time you buy it. So I don't know. I mean, I didn't really write it to make money, but I hope you enjoyed it if you check it out.
And Caveat Ty says, make this movie. What was the title? What was the title?
I forget what it was called.
Like a working title?
I forget what it was called.
And what part would Jason Statham play?
Oh, he played the guy who was injured, who had like, maybe his daughter was in there too or something, or some family member as well. I don't know. It was something, but yeah, he played the guy who has to get everybody back, you know?
Well,
I mean, has much changed over time? These elevator pitches and stuff, do they do that still, or is it?
I mean, you have to like have an elevator pitch just to kind of pitch. You don't really go to meetings and have elevator pitches.
Mm-hmm.
Really, a lot of times when you have general meetings at studios, they might want to talk to you about something specific, but maybe you pitch something, but a lot of times they'll go, we have something like that. So you have to be like, okay, but I got this, you know? And if they go, and you're like, oh, and there's this. So you have to kind of like be ready to shuck and jive.
I think with the industry, the way it is now, like Hollywood has basically given up on creating things for half the country. I think maybe that's changing slowly. I don't see it happening quickly. Is there an opportunity now for, I would just like an indie film revolution for mid and low budget movies to break out, especially because we saw last year, AMC had a significant shortage of movies. There were dead zones. There were months without good films. We saw even the beginning of this year, we've seen, I think, 2 movies Alan and I could recommend. Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, and that movie Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie.
Yeah, and neither of them were studio films.
Yeah.
Both indie movies. And Gore Verbinski got the money and made that movie independently. It was made for like $10 million.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think that now's the time because, everything, the traditional business is a mess. I look at almost like with distribution and putting movies out and making movies and using AI and trying to be smart, that it's almost like who goes to CNN anymore to get their news?
Mm-hmm.
It's all, you get it through these smaller networks and YouTube channels. And I think that's how content's going to be in the next 2-3 years. Why do you need Netflix if you could just put it on YouTube and monetize it or get it to people directly? So it's more about promoting that stuff, letting people, that's where the bridge has to be met. How do you promote it? Let people know that you got this great little movie. So I don't know. I mean, I think there's a great opportunity when things go to shit is when everything's, you got a lot of opportunities to make things happen, and I don't even know if people care about film festivals anymore. What do you hear about?
They don't. I will say this, that Sundance is not important like it used to be. No film festival is.
Yeah.
I mean, and we have our favorites. I think Alan and I both like Slam Dance because it's very focused on micro budget, small indie movies. And South by Southwest still premieres good stuff, but they all are celebrity fuckers. That's all festivals care about now. Just what celebrities are in the movie.
Yeah.
And it's very disheartening. But I think there's an indie film revolution, but hanging over the whole industry is AI. So kind of a final topic, AI. How is that are you going to sit there behind your computer and just turn the script? Because you have scripts.
Yeah.
You could just say, make into a movie.
Make better.
Yeah. Well, I wish it was that easy. But the thing is, look, AI is here. The genie's out of the bottle. People should use it however they can, to get an advantage. I still say, though, I think it's going to empower people who actually can write even more, because you have to look at it like, sure, there's autopilot on a plane, but you need the pilot to program the autopilot, or the plane's still going to crash or it's not going to go anywhere. So it's the same thing kind of with as filmmaking becomes more AI, the one human element that needs to really, kind of drive it is your quality control as a human. Even if you use AI and to help you write or whatever, you still have to know what you're doing. So, I mean, it's almost like, you guys remember how people just fought against using digital cameras, when they came out in the early 2000s. I remember I produced a movie in 2004 where we had to give a presentation to CAA to allow their actor to be in the movie because we were going to shoot digitally, on these Panasonic cameras. And now everybody shoots digitally. So it was a tool to, increase, the workflow and make things a lot easier. So I don't know if AI is going to do that or AI is going to replace everybody. I don't know. Interesting times, but I would not be afraid to use AI for everything and anything, but you still need that human kind of, quality control person behind it, especially with the writing part.
Jim, you can go to jimagnew.com and you can get the links to Live and Write in LA. It's on Amazon for the next week or so, 99 cents Kindle version, or buy a copy for $20. Go to jimagnew.com. You can actually message you on there.
Yeah. If anybody wants to, message me anything that's, that's sane, you can do that on my website. There's a contact form.
Jim, thanks so much for hanging out with us. Hey, the next AMC Burbank 16 meetup on the 19th, I think it's a Thursday. Project Hail Mary, we're all going.
I'm there. I'll be
all
there.
Right.
It's one of the 2 movies I'm excited to see.
Well, Alan is seeing it tonight.
I'm seeing it tonight. Yeah.
Cannot wait.
I can't wait to burst all your bubbles.
Yeah. Jim, thanks so much. Join us for that screening.
Yeah.
And take care. I'll see you in Burbank.
Yeah. Okay. See you guys.
Yeah,
Take care, Jim.
Jim.
Later. Bye. That was great.
Oh, you're not going to play the thing?
We'll let Glenn
we can
do
add it in post.
Add it in post. So cool. Hey, we have another special guest as we wrap up today. We wrap up the show, kind of a shorter show today.
Which means we're ending on time.
Yeah, exactly. A movie called Undercard. We have filmmaker Tamika Miller here joining us. Let's talk to Tamika about Undercard. Tamika, are you there? There's no. I thought there was.
She's unmuted, so.
It's not muted. I don't see video.
I know she's. Oh, there we go.
Oh, there we go. Hey, good to see you.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going? Sorry about that.
I can't hear you.
Oh, you can't hear us? Okay. Try the settings.
Yeah, go to audio. Well, she can't hear us.
I can see you, but I can't hear you.
Oh no. Go to audio.
Well, she can't hear you. That's the thing.
Oh shoot.
Let's see. What's a way to show this?
See.
Is there okay. Here, private chat.
Private chat, Alan.
Go to
private chat.
Settings.
I'm not hearing you.
Okay. All right. Go over there.
Go to audio settings. Okay.
And then check your
audio settings.
Okay, and then your speaker selection.
Audio settings seems to be okay.
You can't hear us?
Okay, press test speaker button.
Press test button. Okay.
You should,
Nothing, you can't hear us? It's par for the course today. We're having tech problems with...
I hear something now. I hear music.
Okay.
I hear music.
Do you hear us?
Okay, can you hear us now? Or
can you hear us?
No.
Okay.
It's weird. Okay, so yeah.
Okay, we'll have
hear
to.
Music.
Yeah, she hears the music, so StreamYard is connected somehow. Outside of that, I don't know how to fix it.
Okay, we're gonna have to reschedule the meeting. I'm sorry. Well, I'm so
Okay.
apologize. It's okay. We'll
Yeah,
reschedule.
I heard music, but I can't hear you guys.
Okay, it's okay. All right. Well, that was par for the course today.
That's weird. Okay.
It's all good. We will reschedule and we'll do another meeting.
Actually,
with-
you want me? I was gonna say if she wants to leave and try to come back in, see if that works.
We'll
Okay.
We will reschedule. We've kind of
Okay.
there's other tech problems. So okay, we will reschedule. Other tech problems we're having today with chat. But
right.
want to thank everybody. I want to thank everybody today for sticking with us. And Lord Thoth, thank you, Lord Thoth. Like, share, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Sign up as a member. Join us on X, Discord, Rumble, Instagram. Buy our merch. Shop.filmthread.com. Want to say, join as a member. We have lots of members only videos about to go live. And there you go. Alan, have fun at Project Hail Mary today.
Yes. Oh, and don't forget our mods.
Our mods, MK Solid, all the mods.
Okay.
And-
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to try it again?
We're gonna end the stream today. But thank you so much. Alan, what do you have to say?
Let's get out of here.